you saw it or not, but the Daily News talked about like how students struggle to read anything over 10 pages long. I don't think this is news, but there was like, I don't know, it's supposedly getting worse. Like students are having more trouble reading, especially difficult philosophical things. They've always had trouble. I did, especially when I first started out. But do you have any advice you'd give for people reading like philosophy of religion, analytic theology, that they're just doing it on their own? A lot of people who follow this channel are sort of, just enthusiasts of Christian philosophy and theology. Is there anything you do that helps with your comprehension or perseverance in reading some of these difficult texts?
So the first thing I would say is, especially when you're introducing yourself to a new work, don't try to just read everything in order.
That's
You
excellent.
should,
Yeah.
so say you're interested in a new paper. First thing you should read is the abstract, then the introduction, then the conclusion. After you've read those things, you can then go read the middle of the paper if you're kind of A, still interested in the paper, and B, so you're now sort of oriented to the point where you think you can start to follow what's going on and not lose track of the bigger picture, which is one reason why you would give up after 10 pages, is you just sort of got too far into the weeds and lost track of the dialectic. And especially in professional writing that's sort of written because we need to explore the weeds, you get a lot of that.
Yeah.
The other thing to do is to sort of, just like you don't try to bench 300 pounds on your first go, like don't necessarily try to take on a field review paper to start with. There's a whole jargon, there's a whole kind of philosophical literacy that if you don't have it, these papers become impenetrable. And once you do have it, they become much more manageable. So sort of use good introductory resources, use books and things that people have written for more popular audiences to sort of build your conceptual repertoire, especially if this is something that you're sort of thinking, I'm doing this as like a semi-hobby type thing. Don't be surprised that you can't jump into the deep end and immediately swim. Wade into the shallows, get your feet wet, start beginning to learn how these various terms work, find authors who are better at expressing them and who are better at communicating new terminology to people, because that's a special skill that some philosophers have, some philosophers only kind of have, and some philosophers definitely don't have.
That's excellent. And you have that rare philosopher like Swinburne who can go take you to the deep end, the shallow end. He can take you to the pond. He can take you to the the lake. He can take you to the ocean.
Yep.
So yeah, no, that's really helpful. Excellent advice.